Hello everyone! Another week and another installment of our series dedicated to a mysterious website and its ties to the UFO phenomenon. Last week we explored the strange but already existing XVIS system changing human perception, and what will we discover today? An article published on the 11th of November 2013 was titled New Trends in Exolinguistics – Evolutions of Cooperative Communication. Exolinguistics is a term suggesting non-human language science. The cooperative communication part is rather obvious. Cooperation with aliens. There are some passages in English in the article which are more general in nature, but there is an odd and direct reference which goes as follows.
Humans in Mizar 7 developed a different strategy for communication. That strategy allowed them to further progress and colonize the nearest stars, while humans in Sol 3 are still killing each other.
Sol 3 is an obvious reference to the Earth, which is the third planet from the Sun, or Sol in Latin. However, the text also mentions humans being present at Mizar 7. That denomination indicates the seventh planet in the Mizar star system. Mizar is the second magnitude star visible in the constellation Ursa Major, or the Big Dipper, where it is the middle star of the Dipper handle. It is also known as Zeta Ursa Majoris. It is a binary star system, with each of the components again being double, so effectively a quadruple star system. The first interesting thing here is that, to the best of our knowledge, Mizar has no planets around any of the stars forming the system, and here we have a direct hint and reference at all 7 of them. Not to even mention that humans living in a different star system than ours is a bit of a travesty. Is it really though? The notion itself is not completely strange in the UFO circles. Moreover, there is a precedent of sorts in ufology. Gary McKinnon is a famous British hacker who around the year 2000 managed to hack into classified military systems of the USA, and was subject to a long procedure during which the US wanted to extradite him with a possible verdict of up to 70 years in prison. In any case, Gary reported seeing lists of military personnel of both human and non-human origin in the hacked material, together with names of ships which are in service but outside of the Earth, or even Earth's orbit. These claims cannot be anyhow verified, but if true, and at least the USA has a mixed human and non-human service personnel, who knows, maybe there are humans already spread around the stellar neighborhood. A week later, on the 18th of November, we have another article with a reference to exo, so extraterrestrial or otherworldly beings. The title is more scary this time: The Nipah virus, NIV ST337, and the Exobiological Defense Program. The Nipah virus is a bat-borne virus causing an infection with a very high mortality rate in humans, reaching between 40 and 75%. The symptoms are similar to a severe combination of flu, meningitis, and norovirus. The title suggests that said virus was used as a defense mechanism against extraterrestrial beings. Let's now see what the English parts of the text say.
Death typically ensues within 3 days after illness onset, likely secondary to brainstem involvement and respiratory failure. NIV ST337 is our way to welcome non-humans. Even though it is difficult to ascertain the extent of direct viral killing or the bystander death, the net effect of NIV 330 family infection and that of the 337 strain in particular remains neuronal death, as documented in the case of the 2 Gizelian individuals. Astrocytes, on the other hand, also respond to the infection by increasing cytokine production, lactic acid release, and glucose mobilization in all but the 3 recovered Virginia specimens.
There we have it. The text clearly suggests that the virus is as deadly as we know it, but it also includes a reference to the death of 2 Gizelians, the mysterious non-human species allegedly existing and already mentioned in previous Forgotten Languages articles. It also mentions the Virginia aliens, so it is a reference to one of the most important mass events of all times in ufology, which took place in Brazil in 1996, and which allegedly led to the capture of at least 1 and possibly 2 alive aliens. In a few days' time, by the way, we are going to get to know a lot of details about this event during a conference in Washington, D.C. One thing here is sure, the text mentions the recovery of 3 and not 1 or 2 alien beings, as usually known in relation to the Virginia case. And it would seem they were subjected to the Nipah virus, unfortunately. This would possibly fit into the narrative according to which said beings were transferred to the regional hospital in Virginia and died, possibly at that very hospital. The article also discusses the mechanism of action of the Nipah virus, but that goes beyond the scope of our main topic of discussion here. On the 24th of October, we saw an article titled Communication with Type 2 Civilizations, Symbolically Coding Human Behavior. Here, we once again have the mention of communication with alien beings, and we also have the mention of a Type 2 civilization. This is a reference to the famous Kardashev scale, which envisages a classification of alien civilizations in terms of their technological progress and advancement. Type 2 is a civilization which has mastered the entire energy output of their home star. Let's see what are the interesting English passages in this article.
It is not unreasonable to suppose that all sufficiently developed intelligent species know abstract logic and are not unfamiliar with the particular mode used in this book, shortly constructive logic based on type theory. There may be a multitude of conventions in notation possible and perhaps some variation in the basics for this theory used by intelligent species outside of Earth, but problems presented by that might be solvable.
Indeed, it is a safe assumption that any civilization advanced enough to have reached Kardashev Type 2 would have developed language, writing or communication, encoded in letters, symbols, glyphs, whatever we would call such a form of communication. This is the only relevant English passage in this text. We have thus explored some general concepts and references to ufology in this episode. There is a lot more to come, and we still have to delve really deep into that powerful iceberg that Forgotten Languages represents. It would seem that the communication with aliens is one of the most recurring topics of the website, and on a clearly personal note, I have a small suspicion that the whole website may have something to do with just that, but more on that later. We have also seen interesting, almost philosophical musings about the basics of communication with other species. What do you think of the topics presented so far, dear viewers? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I will be happy to engage in discussion. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you soon in another video. Take care!